Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome along to the penultimate episode of our Bass House start to finish track from scratch. Number 2. It is of course the mastering episode. As you can definitely tell from the title already, we're gonna be fuck no. We're gonna be mastering the tune inside of Ozone 9. This episode's gonna be slightly different from my normal mastering episodes. I have a couple of other ones to compare mine against. Some of you may already know SoundCloud has like a mastering feature built in. With Dolby, it's basically like AI mastering. So I thought, you know what, we'll slam our tune through that to get one master. We'll do Ozone Master Assistant for the second master, and the third master is just gonna be done by me inside of Ozone 9 with a reference track, and hopefully it sounds okay. I'm up against AI twice, oh no. So yeah, the SoundCloud, the Ozone, me, our reference track, man's first inhibition, Saint Punk bootleg remix, Bass House banger. We're gonna reference the shit out of that. So in between the last episode of the series, which was making the second drop and outro, I've done a mini behind the scenes of just mixing the track. It's unlisted, it's in the description below if you want to check that out before you peep this mastering. I've done a few changes. I mostly just tidied up the mix and adjusted the flow a little bit on some sections. It wasn't like a 4-hour intense mixing session. It was like 45 minutes of making sure it's ready for mastering. Alright, first things first, what do I like to start off in my mastering chain? One would ask. Probably the imager. See if we got anything going on. We'll do splits like the old Ozones, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. So we can split into sub, high, mids, highs, and extra high frequencies. Let's peep the drop we've got so far. It's a little bit wide. Typically you want to keep your subs mono. Subs are never really stereo through like loudspeakers. You can hear it through your headphones and some speakers, but for like a club or a festival settings, your sub's always going to be in mono. So, oh my god, I can see the comments already like, no, mids. Fucking, we can slam that wider. No, we can't. What I'm gauging for is like the upper end of +1. So if +1 is mono, it's not too exciting. Yeah, dancing around that value. Do the highs. That's okay. The funny thing is I used to be like, yo, make it wide is better, but now I'm kind of leaning towards if it slaps in mono. If it slaps in the middle and it sounds decent on the outside, I guess that's all that matters. But you can use stereo field to your advantage and make it super wide and super out there. Honestly, it comes down to personal preference, like most things in music anyway. Barely needs adjusting. Sweet! Do I need to add exciter? Yeah, I think the low end's fine. I'm going to turn that off. Maybe like the highs and the extra highs. I'm gonna have a couple of bands up there making some crispy sounds. Dual triode for the clearest. And see, that just sounds crunchy. Turn the mix down, make it parallel. I'm taking that, it's sounding crisp and crunchy. And if we want to tame it, we will tame it in the next step, which is the multi-band dynamics. So, actually let's figure out where our kick is and kind of like... I think it's 140. So if we have our splits, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to have the split above the low end frequency of the kick. Wow, but that's a bit too high. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna try something different. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And other splits normally. Let's see how this sounds. Don't want too much of a ratio. We don't want too much compression on the low end. We just want to miss that kick and latch onto the bass. We're definitely taking away the thump of the kick. I might play with the parallel later. But let's move on. See, it's just latching onto the kick. Kind of miss that if we can. A little bit more compression. That's super punchy. Okay, that's alright. When we reference it to the other track, we'll come back to these values and adjust them if need be. We kind of just want like rough, broad coverage. I've compressed in different bands, so it's not like we have to get this drilled perfectly right here, right now. So it's just rough at this stage. Oh, here the punch just completely stripped out. I'm definitely going to be adjusting these parallel settings to make sure it isn't getting rid of our punchiness, because I don't want that. Clearly, the higher up the frequency spectrum, the faster the attacks. Because I've explained this before, subs low and slow, high ends are more like hi-hats and cymbals, so they come in real quick. So you want to latch onto them quickly. Let's hit one after that. Definitely stripped out the punchiness of some of the elements. I think that sounds a bit more tame. But the high end punch is just out of here. We haven't adjusted the gain values for any of these. I'll come back to those with the reference track to make sure it sounds mint. I might try Match EQ. I haven't got it set up for pink noise yet, which I want to. But I'm going to try this -6 dB guide, and honestly, I completely forgot what it does, but it's probably a good reference point. Let's amount, okay, so why is that? So like Energy Pro Octave or something, I can't remember, but... I think this is what, maybe this is what Ozone uses as a guide to master your tunes, who knows? You might just have that a little bit in there. And lastly, maximize it, make it loud, make it pumping. Ceiling -2. For Master Assistant, it dropped it to actually 1 or -1 dB, so let's set it like that so it's got the same peak loudness. Try aim for that -6. Look at all that blue. It's killing our transient. It's killing the punch. And that's why this character comes into play, but I kind of like a blend between slow and fast, maybe like around here these days, as opposed to fast will just go hundies on the transient. Nah, fuck it, we're going loud. We're going loud as shit. Transient, sustain, fast, fuck it. Let's hit before and after. Yeah, that low end is just not hitting through properly. Here the gain match, when you bypass Ozone, that low end is like mint through the mix down, pumping, and then it's getting capped way too much. So well, that's definitely loud enough. Can we turn up the bass? Yeah, we're going to turn up the bass. feel like it's somehow wide now. Maybe we put the imager later, but we want the, oh, I don't know. Well, there goes all our crispness with the match EQ, but maybe we had it too crisp and this guy's just like, hey, maybe it's a bit too crisp, we'll back it off here. And now we're just used to it being super crisp. I don't know. Reference track time. All right, here we go. This is so loud. What's the armrest gonna sit at? Holy shit. I reckon that's good for the time being. Anyway, reference track, we're supposed to reference everything. I reckon it needs a bit of... Hear a bit more of the track. Sound good on this bit. Okay, I think the rough master's done. A little bit of referencing to help fix those high-end frequencies a little bit. Now it's time to compare it with Ozone and SoundCloud. I feel like you guys should be voting which one sounds the best. I'm gonna tweak mine a little bit after listening to the SoundCloud one and the Ozone one. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Comment below which one sounds the best when we finish. And I don't care if you don't say mine. I won't be offended at all. I just want to see, because honestly, it's personal preference at the end of the day. Like the same Punk remix, absolutely slam, sounds great through the car, but the RMS is so high compared to our one, and I don't want to slam our one. So that's my personal preference of not having it absolutely slammed. But I like how it sounds, so it's just like, it'll be interesting to see what you guys say in comparison to like SoundCloud, Master Assist, and my Ozone. Because you guys will have your own personal preference of how like wide you want your sounds to be, how loud you want it to be, how much bass, how much high end, etc, etc. So YouTube's gonna convey that brilliantly with all its audio compression, but here we go. This is SoundCloud. Crisp high end, the bass is full and punchy, it's got some real bounce. Like, they've emphasized the bass. It's definitely not super loud. Even though I mastered this on 100% intensity, not super loud. I wonder if SoundCloud's being sneaky is like taking into account the -14 LUFS thing that Spotify and all the other online streaming stores want you to kind of aim for, so maybe that's why it's not super loud. Because it's matching Ozone roughly, and our one is a little bit louder than that. But anyway, I'll play a bit more of the tune. I think the kick's super punchy, but the sub's not really coming through that much. Absolutely loving how that clap sounds. Oh my god, it's compressed in all the right areas. Sounded a little bit too high and crisp there. That's probably down to my mixing. I could have balanced it across the track a bit better, but yeah, it sounds crisp in the bass house parts, but overly crisp in those parts, which kind of leads me to assume there maybe wasn't a lot of multi-band compression happening. None at all, it was just like EQ balancing, but possibly, unless there was multi-band compression and it didn't quite hit the threshold of that yet. Anyway, let's hear Ozone's Master Assist. Did this before on maximum intensity. It shaped the EQ like that. It did the dynamics, but it didn't turn it on. dynamic EQ, little notches here and there, and maximizer. Probably the -14 ting. Oh, it's added a bit of punch as well. So not a great deal. I don't think Master Assist does a great deal. I wonder if it's just like a guideline to make sure your frequency spectrum's clean across the whole thing. And then you can tweak it further after, but let's hear it. Reverse SoundCloud. SoundCloud again. Interesting. I think I actually prefer SoundCloud hearing those back to back. I think SoundCloud's compression overall, it slaps it, makes it punch. Ozone Assist isn't really adding compression apart from the limiting at the end. Yeah, it sounds a bit more polished with the SoundCloud one. It sounds raw with Ozone, but maybe less problematic frequencies? I don't know. I don't know if SoundCloud's doing these dynamic EQ and EQ adjustments like this. So much bass. Yeah, mine's too loud, it's throwing everything out. It's hard to have a balanced kind of... balanced perspective. I've drawn some conclusions. SoundCloud, I like its overall EQ shape and its bass. It's super punchy and crisp, but the overall EQ shape is also a bad thing. I feel like it's a little bit too molded compared to mine or the Ozone Master Assist. The Ozone Master Assist, I really like what it's done with dynamic EQ. It's probably sorting out some problematic frequencies, which I just didn't look into, and I fucking forgot. But it still sounds a bit raw. Like I said, I don't know if Master Assist is just designed to start you off and then you finish the master yourself. As it doesn't sound as crisp because literally it's just shaped it with EQ, dynamic EQ, and then made it loud. Mine, I like the high-end crispness versus the SoundCloud one. I also prefer SoundCloud's bass compared to mine. Mine sounds a little bit too wide and just all over the place. SoundCloud's one's very tamed, so I might fix mine a little bit there. Yeah, boy. But interesting results. I thought I was gonna get absolutely shitted on. I might still in the comments, you guys might be like, nah, SoundCloud's way better, or nah, Master Assist is way better. So I'm just gonna adjust the low end, make sure it's not all over the place. This is actually sounding pretty similar to SoundCloud, holy shit. Funny thing is, once the SoundCloud one's done, and once the Mastering Assist one's done, I'm not quite done. I have the flexibility to make changes. Oh, now obviously I've gotten my master to a point where I think it sounds better than the rest, but feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Yeah, so that's a little bit unfair, but fuck yeah. Last thing, dither, filter, limit peaks, auto blanking, finishing touches. I knew I was gonna come to the conclusion of, yeah, mine sounds the best. Actually, fuck, what we could do is the car test. Obviously, you need to hear your tunes in the car, see if it slaps through there. So let me set that up. Oh, fuck. Fuck, my battery's shit. But now we got the car drone in the background, fuck's sake. SoundCloud's sounding pretty crisp. I like that. Ozone sounding the best in the car. What the fuck? SoundCloud's still sounding super crisp. The high end on SoundCloud I think is the best at this stage. Take that back, mine's the best. SoundCloud's bass is the tightest. Ozone Mastering Assist is sounding pretty clear overall, apart from the fact that, like I said before, it's shaping it rather than compressing it and exciting it, so it's still lagging behind the others. And fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Overall, mine is the clearest. Oh, because I can cheat and reference the other two. Anyway, leave me a comment below which one you think is the cleanest. I've said my piece, so I'm definitely not biased at all. It was a fun episode. Car test is a great idea. I should do that more often. And the last episode of this series is gonna be me dropping the project file to this track. Be a free download. Stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys then, because this has been Mastering in the Car. Peace.